The smell of disinfectant flowed into my nose, choking me and making my throat tight. I leaned against the cold wall of the intensive care unit, my eyes fixed on the glass window on the door, where my daughter, Lu Nanchi, lay inside. The 5-year-old girl should be skipping and jumping in kindergarten, singing nursery rhymes, but now she lies quietly on the hospital bed, a bruise still visible on her face, and 4 inserted into her arm, connected to various monitoring devices. 3 days ago, that scene stabbed at my heart like a knife. Time and time again, that day I went to pick Nanchi up at kindergarten. As soon as I reached the doorway, I saw Lin Wanwan standing there, pointing at Nanchi and talking, then suddenly reached out and shoved Nanchi to the hard concrete floor. Nanchi hit the back of her head and fainted on the spot. I rushed over like crazy, holding Nianxi and running to the hospital. And when I turned my head to avenge Lin Wanwan, she had already vanished. For the past 3 days, I have been guarding Nianxi while having my assistant gather evidence of Lin Wanwan harming her, prepared to report to the police and sue, making her pay for her actions. I thought that as Nianxi's biological father, Lu Tingchen might dislike me, but at least he would stand on his daughter's side. But I never expected that not only did he not come to the hospital to see Nianxi, now he appeared. And it was for the woman who harmed Nianxi, Su Wanqing. The cold, impatient voice came from behind me, and I froze, slowly turning around. Lu Tingchen stood at the end of the corridor, wearing an expensive custom suit, his hair meticulously groomed, his face bearing the habitual coldness, and in his eyes there was no concern for his daughter, only his annoyance with me. What are you still doing here? Lu Tingchen strode forward, his long legs moving toward me, his footsteps thudding on the pristine floor as if stomping on my heart. I already know about Nianxi. I clenched my fists tightly, nails digging deep into my palms, forcing down the anger in my heart, and in a hoarse voice asked, "Do you know? So what do you plan to do?" Lin Wanwan pushed Nianxi, causing Nianxi to have intracranial hemorrhage, and she's still lying in the ICU. Shouldn't you give Nianxi an explanation? An explanation? Lu Tingchen scoffed, eyes full of disdain. It was just a kid's quarrel. Wanwan didn't do it on purpose. Do you have to be so relentless? A kid's quarrel? I looked at him incredulously, my heart like being tightly squeezed by an invisible hand, pain so intense I could barely breathe. Lu Tingchen, look clearly. Inside lies your biological daughter. She's only 5 years old, intracranial hemorrhage. If she hadn't been rushed to the hospital in time, she might have. The rest of the words, I truly couldn't say. Tears uncontrollably welled up, blurring my vision. Enough. Lu Tingchen frowned and cut me off, his tone even more impatient. What are you crying about? I'm here today to tell you to immediately drop the charges against Wanwan and destroy all the so-called evidence you've gathered. Impossible. I rejected it without a second thought, my voice trembling with excitement. Lin Wanwan hurt my daughter. I must see her punished. I'm going to put her in jail. Su Wanqing, don't push your luck. Lu Tingchen's face darkened instantly, and his eyes were filled with threats. I warn you. Don't force me to lay a hand on you. Nianxi is still lying in the hospital, and the daily medical expenses are a considerable burden. Do you think your little dowry can support you for long? I froze, staring at this man in front of me who was both familiar and strange, and a chill slowly spread through my heart. I married him for 3 years to take care of the family, and to prevent him from feeling that I was relying on my capital's family. I have never used the Su family's resources, not even touching my dowry, to help his company's finances. I thought my sacrifices would earn his true feelings, but I never expected that in his eyes I would be so worthless. Lu Tingchen, what do you mean? I asked through clenched teeth. My point is simple. Lu Tingchen looked down at me from his lofty height, his tone cold and piercing. Either you revoke your accusations against Wanwan right now and never trouble her again, or I will freeze all your bank cards, including the dowry card. He paused, looking at my pale face, and a cruel smile curved across his lips. Without my money, I won't pay a single cent for Nianxi's medical expenses. Weigh your options carefully. Should you take this out of revenge by leaving your daughter without funds for treatment and waiting to die in the hospital, or should you obey me and spare Wanwan? You actually used Nianxi's life as a threat against me. I trembled all over, unable to speak from anger. This man is Nianxi's biological father. How can he say such cruel words, for a mere outsider to be willing to lay a hand so harshly on his own real daughter. It's you who forced me. Lu Tingchen spoke with an air of inevitability. Wanwan is the woman I have determined, and no one can hurt her, including you, Su Wanqing. I will give you half an hour to consider. After half an hour, I want to see news that you have withdrawn the accusation. Otherwise, bear the consequences yourself. After saying that, he no longer looked at me, turned and walked away, the hem of his suit sweeping the ground, leaving a cold wind. I watched his resolute back, and my tears finally couldn't be held back. 3 years of marriage, I poured my heart out, and is this the result I get for a mistress who destroys another's family? He can actually disregard his own biological daughter and use his daughter's medical expenses to threaten me into compromise. Su Wanqing, when did I ever suffer such grievance? I took a deep breath, wiped away the tears on my face, and my gaze gradually grew more determined. Lu Tingchen, do you think you've got a hold on my soft spot? Do you think I can't save my daughter without your money? You have no idea who Su Wanqing really is. I took out my phone and pressed a familiar number. The phone was answered almost immediately, and a respectful voice came from the other end. Young madam, what are your instructions? It's me. My voice had regained its calm, carrying an undeniable authority. First, notify the hospital to transfer Nianxi to our Su family's private hospital. Arrange the best medical team, spare no expense to ensure Nianxi's safety. Second, immediately initiate the asset withdrawal procedures. I previously invested 500 billion in Lu's group. Withdraw all of it, not a single cent left behind. Third, check Lu's group's latest cash flow situation. I want Lu Tingchen's company to go bankrupt in the shortest possible time. The assistant on the other end paused, clearly not expecting me to issue such orders out of the blue, but he quickly replied with respect. Understood, young madam. I'll arrange it immediately. Rest assured, we will complete the mission. After hanging up, I looked at the door to the ICU, my eyes filled with cold hatred. Lu Tingchen, Lin Wanwan, and that mother-in-law Zhang Guilin who never even gave me a second glance. I owe you all everything. I'll repay it bit by bit, with double the effort. Didn't you want to freeze my bank account? Didn't you want me to run out of money for Nianxi's treatment? Let me show you what your company would look like if you lost my investment. I really want to see whether Lin Wanwan, whom you desperately try to protect, will still be by your side when you have nothing left. Just then, my phone rang again. It was the hospital nurse calling. I picked up the phone, and the nurse's voice carried a hint of anxiety. Madam Lu, this isn't good. Mr. Lu just called the hospital and said that if you don't drop your accusation against Miss Lin, he will stop paying for Nianxi's medical expenses and let us stop her treatment. I sneered softly, my tone calm. Don't pay attention to him. I will personally cover the medical costs, and I'll transfer Nianxi to another hospital immediately. You should prepare the transfer procedures. The nurse froze for a moment, clearly not expecting this reaction from me, and hesitated. Madam Lu, are you sure? If we transfer, a family member needs to sign to confirm. I'm sure, I said firmly. I'll go over and sign now. Have the doctor prepare it. After hanging up, I tidied my clothes, straightened my back, and headed toward the doctor's office. Lu Tingchen, you think this can threaten me like this? You're too naive. From today on, I, Su Wanqing, will no longer be Mrs. Lu who compromises for the sake of the family. I am the eldest daughter of the Su family, the one who holds trillions in assets and can make you lose everything in an instant. Just you wait, your nightmare has only just begun. I hung up the nurse's call and headed straight to the doctor's office. The medical staff in the corridor looked at me with a hint of sympathy, probably knowing that Lu Tingchen had threatened me with medical bills. If this were the old me, I might have felt humiliated, but now I only find it ridiculous. Pushing open the office door, the attending physician sat behind the desk with the meticulous medical records laid out. Seeing me come in, he hurriedly stood up. Mrs. Lu, you're here, doctor. I'm here to complete the transfer paperwork to another hospital. I spoke up directly, my tone calm with not a hint of fluctuation. The attending physician paused, a troubled look on his face. Madam Lu, have you really decided to transfer hospitals? Nianxi's condition is still unstable, and transferring carries some risk. And, Mr. Lu did call just now, saying that if you do not withdraw the accusation, he will stop covering the costs. I am aware of the risks, and I will bear the consequences. I placed the ID card and household register I prepared long ago on the table. As for the fees, you don't need to worry. I will pay in full, and I will also cover an additional transfer hospital fee and hardship allowance. Moreover, I have already arranged the receiving hospital. Their ambulance will arrive in 10 minutes. The attending physician looked into my determined eyes, glanced at the documents on the table, hesitated for a moment, and then nodded. Okay. I will handle the transfer procedures for you now. The transfer procedures went smoothly. 10 minutes later, the ambulance from Sioux Family Private Hospital arrived on time downstairs. The medical staff, all in tailored suits, efficiently wheeled Nianxi out from the ICU and carefully loaded her onto the ambulance. I followed behind. Just as I was about to get on the vehicle, my pocket phone rang suddenly, and the caller ID showed Lu Tingchen. I sneered softly and swiped to answer. Su Wanqing, half an hour is up. How have you decided? Lu Tingchen's voice carried impatience, plus a hint of certainty, as if convinced I would surely compromise. I warn you, don't play tricks. Nianxi's life is still in your hands. Thicking my hand, I leaned against the ambulance door, my tone dripping with sarcasm. Lu Tingchen, have you got it wrong? Nianxi is my daughter. I care about her life more than anyone, yet you, as her biological father, can say you'd use her medical expenses to threaten me. Do you still have a shred of humanity? Don't waste my time with this useless talk, Lu Tingchen interrupted me, his tone even harsher. I'm asking you, will you withdraw or not the accusation against Wanwan? If you dare say no, I will freeze all your bank cards right now, and you won't get a penny. Freeze my bank card, I sneered, my voice suddenly turning cold. Lu Tingchen, have you forgotten what your company was like when I married into the Lu family? If I hadn't used my dowry to help you with your finances, do you think you would be where you are today? Now you're turning around to threaten me? So what? Lu Tingchen's tone carried a trace of pride. Since you gave me the money, it is mine. Now that you eat mine, wear mine, and use mine, you should obey me. Wanwan is my woman. You must leave her alone. Eat yours, wear yours. I was nearly laughing out of sheer shamelessness at him. Lu Tingchen, you probably have no idea who I Su Wanqing really am, do you? I paused for a moment, deliberately slowing my speech, and spoke word by word. Let me tell you, I, Su Wanqing, am the sole heir of the Su family group, a heiress worth billions. I married into the Lu family not for your money, but because I was blind back then and misjudged someone. Lu Tingchen on the other end of the line suddenly fell silent. After a long moment, his voice finally burst out in a stunned roar. What did you say? Su group, you're lying. How could the daughter of the Su group marry me, if you were the daughter of the Su group? How could you be willing to be a slave and do menial work at the Lu family, marrying a cow and riding a horse? I sneered. That's what I was foolishly doing before, thinking a true heart could exchange for another true heart. Now I'm awake. I won't make that mistake again. No way. You must be lying to me. Lu Tingchen still refused to believe. I'll check right now. If you dare deceive me, I won't spare you. You may go check, I answered calmly. Also, here's a piece of good news. 10 minutes ago I already arranged to transfer Nianxi to our Su family's private hospital, where there are the best doctors and the most advanced equipment. Even without your money, Nianxi can receive the best treatment. You transferred Nianxi to another hospital. Lu Tingchen's voice finally carried a hint of panic. Su Wanqing, you dare. Nianxi is also my daughter. By what right do you transfer her without my consent? On what grounds? I raised my voice, full of hatred. On the grounds that you threatened me with her medical bills. On the grounds that you don't care whether that Mistress Lin Wanwan lives or dies. Lu Tingchen, from the moment you said that, you are unworthy of being Nianxi's father. Don't slander me here, Lu Tingchen still stubbornly argued. I was only trying to calm you down, to stop you from making a mountain out of a molehill. Wanwan really didn't do it on purpose. Whether it was deliberate or not will be for the police to investigate. I was too tired to argue with him further. There's one more thing I suppose you don't know. The reason your company's cash flow is so stable right now is entirely because of the 5 billion our Su family invested earlier. What did you say? Lu Tingchen's voice changed pitch instantly. That 5 billion was invested by your Su family, or do you think that with your abilities, you can obtain such a large investment? I scoffed. Let me tell you, just a moment ago, I've already given instructions to my assistant. That 500 billion, I'm going to pull it all back. No. No, Lu Tingchen's voice was full of fear. Su Wanqing, you can't do this. That 500 billion is the company's lifeline. If you pull it back, the company is finished. Please tell your assistant to stop. Finished, I said coldly. Isn't this what you wanted? You were willing to go harsh on Nianxi for Lin Wanwan. You should have anticipated today's consequences. I was wrong, Wanqing. I was wrong. Lu Tingchen's tone suddenly softened, and with a sobbing plea he said, I shouldn't have used Nianxi's medical expenses to threaten you. I shouldn't have protected Lin Wanwan. Can you forgive me this time? You make your assistant stop pulling out the investment. I'll do whatever you say. I'll immediately have Lin Wanwan apologize to you and go apologize to Nianxi. Seeing his demeanor, arrogant at first, then utterly humble, I felt not a ripple of emotion, only utter disgust. Now you realize you were wrong. It's too late, I said coldly. Lu Tingchen, what you owe me and Nianxi cannot be resolved with a simple apology. The fate of your company was sealed the moment you threatened me. No, Wanqing, please, Lu Tingchen shouted on the other end of the line. I can't live without my company. I can't go bankrupt. If you withdraw your investment, I'll truly have nothing left. Having nothing left is something you brought upon yourself, I said calmly. All right, I don't have time for further conversation. I need to accompany Nianxi to another hospital. From now on, stop calling me, otherwise, I wouldn't mind seeing you die in an even more miserable way. After finishing speaking, I didn't wait for Lu Tingchen to say more. I hung up the phone directly and added his number to the blacklist. The ambulance started slowly and headed toward the private hospital of the Su family. I sat in the front passenger seat, watching the scenery outside quickly retreat, and the stone in my heart finally dropped. Lu Tingchen, this is just the beginning. You, Lin Wanwan, and Zhang Guilan, what you owe me, what you owe Nianxi, I will take it back little by little. Doubly, I took out my phone and gave the assistant a call. Miss, have the transfer procedures for the transfer of hospitals all been completed? The assistant's respectful voice came through. It's already on the way, I said. As for the withdrawal of funds, how is that going? Back to Miss, it has already started. The Lu Group's cash flow was tight to begin with, relying entirely on the 500 billion you invested to support it. Now that we withdraw, their cash flow has begun to break, and many partners have started pressing for payments. The assistant's voice carried a hint of excitement. I estimate it won't be long before the Lu Group goes bankrupt. Well done, I nod with satisfaction. Keep following up, and report to me anytime there is any development. Also, check Lin Wanwan's background. I want all of her information, as detailed as possible. Yes, miss. I'll go check it right away. After hanging up the call, I turned to look at Nianxi lying on the hospital bed. Her small face had no trace of color, her brows slightly knitted, as if she was having a bad dream. I reached out and gently stroked her forehead, my voice so soft it seemed to drip with water. Nianxi, I'm sorry, I didn't protect you well before. From now on, I won't let anyone hurt you again. Those who hurt us, I will make them pay. The ambulance raced along and soon arrived at the Su family's private hospital. It is a luxurious hospital built against the mountains, with a serene environment and full facilities, comparable to a five-star hotel. The medical staff carefully wheeled Nianxi into a VIP ward that had already been prepared. A group of experts in white coats immediately surrounded her and began a comprehensive examination. I stood at the door of the ward, watching the busy doctors inside, feeling a sense of safety. This is the Su family's territory. With the best medical resources, Nianxi will surely be all right. Just then, my phone rang again, from an unfamiliar number. I hesitated for a moment, then swiped to answer. A sharp, nasty voice came from the other end of the line. My mother-in-law, Zhang Guilan. Su Wanqing, you jinx, what did you do to Tingchen? Why did Tingchen say the company is going bankrupt? Are you plotting something behind the scenes? I sneered softly. It seemed Lu Tingchen had already told Zhang Guilan that the company was about to go bankrupt. Good too, so I don't have to go search for her one by one. I leaned against the wall of the hallway and spoke in a cold tone. Zhang Guilan, your son's company is going bankrupt. What does that have to do with me? He brought this on himself by poor management. No one else is to blame. Shit, Zhang Guilan screamed into the phone. It must be you who did this. If you hadn't been disobedient, insisted on opposing Wanwan, how could Tingchen be angry with you? If you had withdrawn the accusations against Wanwan earlier, how could so many things have happened? Su Wanqing, I'm warning you, you must go fix this now so Tingchen's company is fine, or I won't spare you. You can't get away with me. I sneer. Zhang Guilan, have you forgotten that I am no longer the Su Wanqing who let you bully me? Your son's company is going to go bankrupt. That's what he deserves. Also, that Mistress Lin Wanwan who hurt my daughter, I will not spare her, if you dare to help her. I'll deal with you as well, you dare, Zhang Guilin blurted in anger. See. If I dare or not, I replied coldly. All right, stop calling me, otherwise I won't mind letting you taste the shame of losing everything. After speaking, I hung up directly and added this number to my blacklist. I raise my head and look at the door of the VIP ward, my gaze firm. Not even 10 minutes after hanging up the call with Guilin, urgent and sharp footsteps echoed from the end of the hospital corridor. Mixed with her ranting and scolding like a broken gong, from far away it was still clearly audible. Suan King, you heartless woman. Come out here, you've ruined the Liu family and you still want to hide. I tell you, today if you don't speak clearly, I'll die right here. I stand at the door of the VIP ward, my brows tightly knitted. This Guilin is really one to say something and make it happen. She actually followed me all the way to the hospital. The surrounding medical staff and a few visiting family members were drawn by the commotion, leaning out to see what was happening. I wasn't panicking at all, since she wanted to make trouble. I would play along with her and let everyone see what kind of person the Liu family really is. Miss, should I handle this? The bodyguard who had been trailing behind me whispered. He is a personal bodyguard sent by the Su family, skilled in martial arts, always by my side to protect me and Yanxi. No need, let her come over. I spoke lightly, tone calm and even. I want to see what tricks she can pull. As soon as the words fell, Zhang Guilin staggered forward to confront me. She was wearing a flashy dress today, her hair a mess, makeup still not fully washed off, clearly rushing over in a hurry. Her appearance was wretched and fierce. Swan Wanqing, you bitch, Zhang Guilin, upon seeing me, had red eyes and lunged forward to grab my hair. It's all your fault. You caused my son's company to nearly go bankrupt. You caused our Liu family to be ruined. How can your heart be so cruel? The bodyguard's sharp eyes and quick hands stepped forward to block in front of me. Grabbing Zhang Guilin's wrist with one hand, Zhang Guilin yelped in pain, crying out, "Let go of me! Who are you? How dare you interfere in my business? I tell you, I am her mother-in-law. I discipline my daughter-in-law. It's only natural. Mother-in-law," I sneered, stepping out from behind the bodyguard, looking down on her from a commanding height. "Zhang Guilin, you're fit to be called a mother-in-law. When your son threatened my daughter's medical bills, why didn't you come out to intervene? When your son, for the concubine Lin Wanwan, ignored my daughter's life and death, why didn't you call that natural and right? Well, that wasn't Shi Chen's fault," Zhang Guilin stubbornly said, struggling to break free from the bodyguard's grasp. "You're making a big deal out of nothing. Wanwan is a good girl. Surely Lin Wanli is the impolite one who provoked Wanwan. Wanwan only pushed her a little by mistake. Do you have to make such a big fuss, and you pulling out funding to make Chechen go bankrupt? What kind of heart do you have? Did you push accidentally?" I was nearly laughing at her shamelessness. "Zhang Guilin, go check my daughter's medical records. Intracranial hemorrhage. She nearly died, and you call that pushing accidentally? If you think this is a small matter, then I'll have someone push your grandson or granddaughter by accident and see if you can accept it." The onlookers around, hearing this, couldn't help but debate among themselves. My goodness. Intracranial hemorrhage, that's no matter. This grandma is too unreasonable. Her daughter nearly lost her life, and she's siding with the outside woman. From what this sounds like, her son used the daughter's medical bills to threaten his wife for the mistress. This is so shameless. The murmur reached Zhang Guilin's ears, and her face turned red and white in an instant, but she still stubbornly insisted, "That's because your Su family has money, and Ningxi has you, the mother of a prestigious family's daughter. Surely you can heal him, but Tianchen is different. If his company goes bankrupt, our whole family will have to live on the edge." "Su Wanqing, you're so rich, why can't you help Tianchen? Do you have to push us to a dead end? Help him," I sneer, icy in tone. Was I ever lacking when helping him? 3 years ago, his company couldn't turn funds over, who used her dowry to plug the hole for him. A year ago, when he wanted to expand the business, who begged my dad to invest 500 billion for their company, I, Su Wanqing, poured my heart out for you, the Li family, and what did I get in return? I got him threatening me with my daughter's life, and your entire family protecting the mistress and bullying me. The more I spoke, the angrier I became, and my voice rose a few notches, so that everyone nearby could clearly hear. "Zhang Guilin, ask your conscience yourselves. Do your Liu family owe me anything? Do they owe Yanxi anything, now the company is about to go bankrupt? Have you thought of me? Too late, you're talking nonsense. Jean Guilin was speechless by what I said, and could only throw a tantrum. I don't care. Today you must retract the order to pull out the investment. You must let Wanwan go. Otherwise I'll stay here and not leave. I'll lie on the ground crying, so that everyone can see how a noble daughter of a wealthy family bullies people. As she spoke, she really started to lie down on the ground, her limbs flailing about. The people around were stunned, and the discussions grew louder. My gosh, this is too much of a tantrum. This is really mind-blowing. Protecting the mistress, yet forcing the company that saved her own son. The female lead is pitiful too, marrying into such a bizarre family. Looking at Jean Guilin's despicable behavior, I felt nothing but utter disgust. When I was with the Liu family before, she was indeed harsh, but she never acted so shamelessly. Now that I know the Liu family is doomed, she has completely lost all sense of decency, revealing this greedy and utterly shameless demeanor. It seems that trying to reason with you has been futile, I said coldly to the bodyguard. Drag her out and throw her outside the hospital gate. Tell the security personnel that she is not allowed to set foot in this hospital again. Yes, miss, the bodyguard replied, applying firm pressure with his hands and dragging Zhang Guilin up as if she were a dead dog. Ah, let me go, Su Wanqing. How dare you treat me like this? I'll fight you to the death. Zhang Guilin struggled frantically, screaming until her voice was hoarse. I'm your mother-in-law. Treating me this way will bring divine punishment upon you. Tingchen won't let you off, and neither will Wanwan. Divine punishment, I sneer. You deserve it. As for Liu Tingchen and Lin Wanwan, they can barely take care of themselves, yet they dare to threaten me. The bodyguards dragged Zhang Guilin all the way out, her shouts fading further and farther, finally disappearing at the end of the corridor. The surrounding discussions gradually quieted. The medical staff and family members looked at me with a hint of reverence. Obviously, they all realized that I was no longer a soft persimmon that anyone could push around. I was too lazy to pay attention to their gazes and turned to walk into the VIP ward. Nianxi is still asleep, his complexion a bit better than before, and his brows have loosened somewhat. The doctors have finished the examination and are discussing something with the assistants. Seeing me come in, Dr. Li, who was at the front, hurried over and respectfully said, Miss Liu's condition has basically stabilized. We just performed a comprehensive examination, and the intracranial bleeding has been controlled. There is no threat to life. Next, as long as she rests well and cooperates with treatment, she will recover soon. Thank you for your hard work. I nodded, and the weight in my heart finally settled. Please formulate the subsequent treatment plan as soon as possible. If you need anything, feel free to tell me at any time. Yes, miss, don't worry. Dr. Li nodded, then reminded them of a few precautions, and led the other doctors out of the ward. In the ward there was only me and Nianxi left, plus a nurse on standby at any moment. I walked to the bedside, gently holding Nianxi's warm little hand. A faint pulse came from her fingertips. My heart softened instantly, and my eyes grew a little damp. Nianxi, Mommy is here, I whispered. That bad? Grandmother was driven away by Mommy, and she won't dare to bully us again in the future. You need to get better soon, and Mommy will take you to have your favorite strawberry cake, take you to the amusement park, okay? Nianxi seemed to hear my voice. Her little mouth moved, letting out a faint murmur, and then she sank back into a deep sleep. I sat on the edge of the bed, quietly watching her, my heart filled with guilt. If I had revealed my identity sooner, if I had seen clearly the true nature of Liu Tingchen and the Liu family sooner, Nianxi wouldn't have suffered so much. Fortunately, it's not too late now. I have already started to fight back. Liu Tingchen's company is about to go bankrupt. Zhang Guilin has been dealt with by me, and next, it will be the turn of the mistress who harmed Nianxi. Lin Wanwan. Thinking of Lin Wanwan, I took out my phone and called my assistant. Miss, do you have any instructions? The assistant's voice came quickly. Have you found information on Lin Wanwan? I asked. Miss, we've found it. The assistant replied promptly. Lin Wanwan came from an ordinary background. His parents are the working class. She used to work as an office clerk at a small company. Then she met Mr. Liu, quit her job, and lived off Mr. Liu. Her private life is quite chaotic. She's had improper relations with several people. In addition, we found that this time when she toppled Miss Liu, it wasn't an accident but something she's harbored for a long time. Harbored for a long time, I frowned. Why does she hate she? because Mr. Liu has been promising her recently that as long as she asks you, he'll marry her and make her Mrs. Liu. She thinks Miss Liu is your and Mr. Liu's obstacle. As long as Miss Liu is not around, or you and Mr. Liu divorce, she'll ascend to the top smoothly, so she deliberately waited at the kindergarten gate for Miss Liu and dealt her a heavy blow. The assistant's words were like a cold knife stabbing into my heart. I thought Lin Wanwan was just a concubine chasing wealth, but I never expected her to be so vicious, to go after a 5-year-old child just to climb higher. Good, very good. I took a deep breath, my tone ice cold with not a shred of warmth. Organize these materials, hand them over to the police. Also, check if she has any other illegal activities. I want her to pay for it in prison. Yes, miss, I'll get right on it. After hanging up the phone, I looked at Nianqi's sleeping face, my eyes filled with a cold, murderous intent. Lin Wanwan, since you're so determined to rise to power, I'll accommodate your wishes. I'll make it clear that the cost of harming my daughter is something you can never bear. Just then, my phone rang again, once more from an unknown number. It was obvious either Lu Tingchen or Zhang Guilin had changed their contact information. I didn't want to take it at first, but then I thought it would be a good opportunity to hear about their current dire situation, and perhaps even help relieve my own frustration. I pressed the answer key, and before I could speak, the other end of the line erupted with Lu Tingchen's, "Su Wanqing, what did you do to my mother? My mother said you had the bodyguard drag her out. Are you crazy? Are you crazy?" I sneered. "Lu Tingchen, you should ask your mother what good deed she did today at the hospital. She came to the hospital to kick up a fuss, protecting that mistress who hurt Nianqi, and forced me to withdraw the withdrawal of investment directive. I didn't have the guards break her legs. That would have been shown mercy. My mom is also anxious." Lu Tingchen was still defending Zhang Guilin. "The company is already in a mess. Partners are all pressing for payments. The bank is forcing us to repay the loans. If this continues, we'll really go bankrupt. Su Wanqing, I beg you, just feel a little sorry for me and let your assistant stop. I swear, as long as the company gets through this tough time, I will definitely cut off my relationship with Lin Wanwan, live properly with you, and take good care of Nianqi." "Poor you," I sneered. "When you threatened me with Nianqi's medical expenses back then, why didn't you think to pity me? When Lin Wanwan toppled Nianqi, why didn't you think to pity Nianqi?" "Lu Tingchen, your promises are worthless. I will never believe you again. I'm sincere." "Evening Qing, I really know I was wrong," Lu Tingchen cried on the other end of the phone. "I can't be without a company. I can't have nothing. If you don't help me, I'll really be finished. Completion is what you brought on yourself," I said calmly. "Fine, don't call me anymore. If you call again, I'll have my lawyer sue you for cheating in marriage and abusing our daughter, ruining your reputation." After finishing speaking, I directly hung up the phone and once again added this number to the blacklist. I really don't want to hear any one of them's voices anymore. I just hope they will quickly pay the deserved price, right? After hanging up the phone with Lu Tingchen, the nurse at the ward door cautiously stepped in and whispered to me, "Miss, there's a woman named Lin Wanwan outside who says she has something urgent to discuss with you. She's insistent and won't be stopped." Lin Wanwan, I arched an eyebrow, a cold smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. It's really true what goes around comes around. I was just about to confront her, and she's the one delivering herself to me. Fine by me. It saves me from sending someone to fetch her. "Let her in," I spoke softly, my tone calm and even. "But miss, she seems emotionally agitated. I'm afraid she might hurt you," the nurse said with some worry. "Don't worry, there's a bodyguard here. She can't hurt me." I waved my hand, signaling the nurse to call someone. The nurse nodded and turned to leave. Not long after, the sound of high heels tapping on the floor could be heard, and soon Lin Wanwan burst angrily into the ward. Today she was wearing a red dress, with exquisite makeup and meticulously styled hair, looking more decent than Zhang Guilin, but her eyes were filled with malice and madness, and her face flushed red from anger, a clear sign that she was not here to be friendly. "Su Wanqing, you vicious woman." As soon as Lin Wanwan saw me, she rushed toward me like a madwoman, pointing at my nose and hurling insults. "It's all your fault. It's entirely your doing that Tingchen Company is on the verge of bankruptcy. It's all your fault for ruining my good life. Why don't you just die?" The bodyguard immediately stepped forward to block my path, his eyes coldly fixed on Lin Wanwan. If she took another step, he would strike without hesitation. Lin Wanwan was intimidated by the bodyguard's imposing presence. Her steps paused for a moment, but she quickly resumed her frenzied demeanor and roared, Don't think that just because you have bodyguards means I'm afraid of you, Su Wanqing. On what grounds did you withdraw your investment? Why did you drive Tingchen into bankruptcy? You're nothing more than an unwanted woman. Had it not been for your good fortune in marrying into the Liu family, you would be nothing at all. What am I? I sneered as I stepped out from behind the bodyguard and looked down upon her. And you? What are you? A mistress who destroys others' families, a venomous woman who would resort to violence against a 5-year-old child merely to advance her own status. Do you really deserve to challenge me here? I didn't do it on purpose, Lin Wanwan screamed, eyes wavering, clearly guilty. It was that little bitch who provoked me first. She actually dared to call me a vixen. I only pushed her by mistake. If she hadn't been so mouthy, how could this happen? Accident, I sneered coldly, pulled out my phone, opened the information the assistant had just sent me, and shoved the screen in front of Lin Wanwan. Take a look yourself. These are the evidence I found. You've long harbored a grudge, thinking Nian she is the obstacle to your ascent. So you deliberately waited for her at the kindergarten gate and dealt a heavy hand to her, and you still dare say it was an accident. Lin Wanwan saw the information on her phone, and her face instantly turned deathly pale, her body beginning to tremble slightly, but she still clung stubbornly to a dying duck's resolve, forcing out, This is all fake. You forged it, Su Wanqing. You did this to frame me. You're so vicious. If it's fake, the police will naturally investigate it thoroughly. I put away my phone and spoke in a cold tone. Lin Wanwan, you harmed my daughter. I won't let it slide. I have already handed the evidence of your intentional harm to the police, and soon the police will come to find you. No, impossible. Lin Wanwan shook her head wildly, her eyes filled with fear. Li Tingchen won't let the police arrest me. Lincoln will protect me. He said he would marry me, make me Mrs. Liu. Su Wanqing. Don't think you can scare me, Liu Tingchen, I scoffed. Do you still expect him now? Don't you know his company is almost bankrupt? He can hardly take care of himself, let alone protect you. I tell you, Lincoln has begged me to save his company. He said that as long as I am willing to withdraw the funding withdrawal order, he will sever ties with you and live properly with me. You're lying. Tingchen wouldn't treat me like this, Lin Wanwan screamed, not believing it at all. Tingchen loves me. He said the person he loves most is me. He won't give up on me for the company. Su Wanqing, stop sowing discord here. Watching her stubbornly confused appearance, my heart was filled with endless disgust. This kind of woman is really stupid and venomous. At this moment, she is still fantasizing that Lincoln will protect her. Believe it or not, I was too lazy to argue with her anymore, and I told the bodyguard, keep an eye on her, wait for the police. Yes, miss. The bodyguard replied, stepping forward, staring stubbornly at Lin Wanwan. Seeing that I was getting serious, Lin Wanwan finally panicked. She knew that if she were taken away by the police, the consequences would be unimaginable. Her eyes shifted, and she suddenly put on a pitiful look, kneeling in front of me, crying, Sister Wanqing, I was wrong. I really was wrong. I shouldn't have been with Tianchen. I shouldn't have hurt Nianqi. Please forgive me this time, okay? I promise I will never appear in front of you in Tianchen again. I will immediately leave the city and never come back. Do you know you were wrong now? It's too late. My tone was cold, with not a trace of emotion. When you hurt Nianqi back then, did you ever think there would be a day like this? Lin Wanwan, the mistakes you made must pay a price. I really know I'm in the wrong, elder sister Wanqing. Please, I beg you, just spare me this time. Lin Wanwan cried as she crawled forward a few steps, trying to pull on my pants. The bodyguard immediately stepped forward and kicked her aside with 1 foot. Lin Wanwan fell to the ground, wincing in pain. The pitiable look in her eyes vanished in an instant, replaced by a strong sense of resentment. Swanking, don't be polite to someone who's not grateful. Lin Wanwan crawled up from the ground and roared crazily. Do you think you've won? I tell you, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Speaking, she suddenly pulled a fruit knife from her pocket and stabbed toward me. This knife was presumably prepared long ago. It's clear today she didn't come to negotiate with me at all, but to kill me. The surrounding nurses screamed in fear, but I was not frightened at all. From the moment Lin Wanwan entered, the bodyguard had already heightened his vigilance. How could you let her hurt me? Just as the fruit knife was about to touch me, the bodyguard suddenly reached out, grabbing Lin Wanwan's wrist and twisting it with force. With a crack, Lin Wanwan's wrist was broken, and the fruit knife clattered to the ground. Ah, my hand, Lin Wan Wan screamed in pain, cold sweat instantly soaking her clothes, tears and mucus streaming down together, and she was no longer as crazy and arrogant as before. Dare to lay a hand on the young lady, you're courting death. The bodyguard's eyes were icy, and the strength in his hands intensified a few points. Ouch, it hurts. I was wrong. I'll never dare again, Lin Wan Wan cried, kneeling on the ground, pleading endlessly. I looked at her pathetic state, and there wasn't a trace of sympathy in my heart, only endless disgust. This kind of woman deserves to suffer. Just then, the sound of police at the door of the ward rang out. Police, don't move. A few police officers in police uniforms walked in, and upon seeing the scene in the ward, they immediately advanced to restrain Lin Wan Wan. Officer, it's her. She is the murderer who deliberately harmed my daughter, and just now she threatened to harm me with a knife. I pointed at Lin Wan Wan and spoke to the police. When we received the report, someone was suspected of intentionally injuring another person. Come with us. The lead police officer produced handcuffs and put them on Lin Wan Wan's wrists. No, I don't want to go with you. I didn't hurt anyone. She's framing me. Lin Wan Wan struggled, screamed, Officer, you must release me. Mr. Liu of the Liu Group will surely rescue me. He's very rich. He will give you favors. The police looked at her coldly, paying no attention to her nonsense, and escorted her out. Lin Wan Wan's screams faded farther and farther, finally completely disappearing at the end of the corridor. The ward finally returned to calm, and the nurses breathed a sigh of relief, gathering around to check on me. Miss, are you all right? That was really dangerous just now. I'm fine, thank you. I shook my head, looked at the fruit knife on the ground, and said to the bodyguard, put it away and hand it over to the police as evidence. Yes, miss, the bodyguard acknowledged, picked up the fruit knife, turned and walked out. I walked to the bedside and looked at Nian Shi's sleeping face, my heart filling with fear. If the bodyguard had reacted a little slower just now, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Fortunately, Nian Shi slept soundly and wasn't awakened by the disturbance just now. I gently stroked Nian Shi's forehead and whispered, Nian Shi, Mama has caught the bad person who hurt you, and she will be punished soon. Don't worry. I will protect you all the time and you will never be hurt again. At this moment, my phone rang. It was my assistant, Miss Lin Wan Wan has been taken away by the police. The assistant's voice came through. The evidence we handed over to the police is very solid, and coupled with her act of injuring someone with a knife just now, she will surely go to jail this time. Good job, I nodded, speaking in a calm tone. Keep following up on this matter. I want to ensure she receives the deserved punishment and does not get another chance to turn things around, okay? Miss, don't worry, I'll monitor it closely throughout. Also, how is the Liu Group doing? I asked, replying to Miss. The Liu Group's cash flow has completely collapsed. Today several partners have announced they will terminate cooperation with them, and the banks have begun auctioning their assets. Liu Tingchen is already scrambling for money, but no one is willing to help him. The assistant's voice carried a hint of schadenfreude. It won't be long before the Liu Group officially declares bankruptcy. Very good, I nodded in satisfaction. Keep watching them. Report to me anytime there is any development. Very good, miss. After hanging up, I turned to look out the window. The sunlight was just right, a gentle breeze, and everything was developing in a positive direction. Lin Wan Wan has already been captured. Liu Tingchen's company is about to go bankrupt, and Zhang Guilin has also been dealt with by me. Next, it should be divorce from Liu Tingchen, leave him with nothing, and completely sever ties with this dirty family. I took a deep breath, and my eyes grew even more determined. News that Lin Wan Wan was taken away by the police reached me, and the fluttering heart I had held on to finally settled. It wasn't pity for her fate, but relief that Nian Shi could finally seek justice. That malignant woman would never have a chance to come out and harm anyone again. The nurse replaced the old fragrance in the ward with a new diffuser, the light jasmine scent dispelling the earlier viciousness. Nian Shi slept more soundly, the corners of her mouth gently curled up, as if she had dreamed of something happy. I had just settled by the bed when the assistant's call rushed in, carrying an excitement that couldn't be suppressed. The assistant said, Madam, here's the report. Our 50 billion withdrawal process has been completed in full, with not a penny left. The public accounts of the Liu Group have already been frozen by the bank this morning. All their liquid assets have been transferred, and they can't even pay their employees' salaries. I lightly tapped the edge of the hospital bed with my fingertips and speak coldly. things I expected. With Lu Tingchen's abilities, he can't support the Lu family's entire empire on his own. The Su family's funds are the backing. Without this 50 billion, his company is just a house of cards, ready to collapse with a single poke. The assistant continued, it's not just the cash flow that's broken. All the partners you instructed, we've contacted them all, starting at 8 o'clock this morning. 30 partner companies uniformly issued termination notices. The penalties for breach are clearly calculated according to the contracts. As for Lu Tingchen, just paying the breach penalties would have him skinning 3 layers. A few banks that have large loans with the Lu family, following your instructions, have started the loan collection processes early as well. Now the Lu Group's office building is sealed by the banks, waiting to be auctioned off to cover the debts. The words made my heart feel instantly at ease. After 3 years of grievances suffered at the Lu family and the suffering she endured, I could finally reclaim a little of it. Lu Tingchen rose to power by relying on my dowry, and flaunted the 500 billion Lu Group capital, pretending to be a scion of a wealthy family on the surface. Behind the scenes, he protected his mistress and mistreated his wife and daughter. Now he has fallen to such a stage, it's all a self-made consequence. How about the stock price? I asked. Lu & Co. is a listed company, and the most direct expression of a capital collapse is a stock price plunge, the assistant said. Lu & Co.'s stock price hit the limit down at the open, and up to now, it has fallen 5 consecutive trading suspenders. Market value has evaporated by nearly $1 trillion. Retail investors are dumping shares. Major securities platforms have marked Lu & Co. as a high-risk stock. No one dares to take over. Lu Tingchen even wanted to hold an emergency shareholders meeting to raise funds this morning, but all the shareholders fled. They didn't even leave a door for the meeting room. I sneered. Lu Tingchen has always been conceited with little real ability, thinking himself capable of anything, not realizing that all he possesses is something I casually bestowed. Now that I withdraw all support, he can only crash down from the clouds, shattering to pieces. As we were talking, a security guard at the ward door hurried in, reporting in a low voice, Miss, Lu Tingchen is blocking at the hospital gate, with a few followers, saying he wants to see you. We blocked him outside. He's shouting that you must come out to save Lu & Co., otherwise he'll kneel at the door and not leave. Kneel? I didn't even lift my eyelids, and my tone was as cold as ice. Don't say kneel for a day. Even if he kneels to death, I won't see him. Also, tell the security at the gate, if he dares to make trouble at the hospital, just call the police. Handle it as disturbing the public peace. The bodyguard stepped back in response. I didn't need to guess that Lu Tingchen must be face-savingly ruined and utterly humiliated at this moment. He used to stand tall in front of me, constantly taunting me with cold words. Now he has to lower himself and kneel to beg. This contrast alone is satisfying to think about. Not even 10 minutes later, the assistant sent another video. This one from downstairs at the Lu Group building. A sea of black-clad employees gathered at the door, waving banners demanding unpaid wages, and many partners brought people to block the door, shouting for Lu Tingchen to return the money. The scene was chaotic. Several batches of police had arrived. In the video, Lu Tingchen wore a wrinkled suit, his hair disheveled, being pushed and insulted by a group of creditors. The once imposing aura of the CEO was gone, looking like a stray dog. I casually deleted the video. This kind of scene, even a glance made my eyes feel dirty. In the afternoon, Zhang Guilan came again. This time she didn't dare rush into the hospital ward. She stood at the hospital entrance with Lu Tingchen, mother and son, loudly cursing toward the direction of the hospital building, filthy words everywhere, attracting passers-by to crowd and take photos. Zhang Guilan tried to rush into the inpatient department, but the security guards blocked her and threw her out. She hit the ground and lay there for a long time, still shouting dirty words about me paying the price and saving the Lu family. I was listening to the bodyguard's report, and I found it utterly ridiculous. This mother and son pair never faced reality from beginning to end. They always thought I should unconditionally help the Lu family, but they forgot that I am also a flesh and blood person, having their hearts broken by them. How could I be soft-hearted again? My Su family's money didn't come from the wind. Why should I fill Lu's family's bottomless pit? Moreover, they even harmed my daughter, and this score must be settled with no mercy. In the evening, Dr. We came to check on the ward and smiled, saying to me, Miss Lu has recovered exceptionally well. The intracranial stasis has largely cleared, and she can be transferred out of the intensive care unit tomorrow to rest in a regular VIP ward. The child is young and recovering quickly. In less than a month she will be fully cured with no lasting sequelae. This is the best news today. after days of worry, I finally let go completely. I hold the warm little hand of Nian Shuan and softly talk to her. Even if she isn't awake yet, I want her to know that Mom will always be with her, and I will shield her from every storm. The assistant's phone rang again, delivering even more shocking news. The assistant said, "Miss, the Lu Group just issued a bankruptcy warning, officially submitting a bankruptcy reorganization application to the court, but right now, no one is willing to take over this mess. All assets have been seized by banks and creditors, the properties, cars, and stocks under Lu Tingchen's name are all frozen. He is now a penniless pauper." "Well done," I said calmly. "Go check again whether Lu Tingchen has secretly transferred assets. If so, have the lawyer take immediate action to recover all those assets. Not a single cent should go to him. Don't worry, miss. We've been monitoring him for a long time. All his accounts are under surveillance. Not only can he not transfer assets, but he can't even make a small transfer." After hanging up, night had already fallen over the entire city. The warm light in the hospital room illuminated Nianxi's serene face, gentle and peaceful. Looking out at the countless lights outside the window, I knew full well that in this revenge mission, I had just won the first round. The bankruptcy of Lu Tingchen's company was merely the beginning. Next, I would make him and Zhang Guilin endure every form of suffering in the world, forcing them to pay the most painful price for their actions. Lin Wanwan awaits her sentence at the police station. Lu Tingchen has become a penniless man. Zhang Guilin is branded as a despicable woman despised by all. The Lu family has completely collapsed. This is all they deserve. I stood up and walked to the window. The evening breeze brushed against my cheeks, carrying a slight chill, yet it could not dispel the hatred in my heart. "Lu Tingchen, do you really think threatening me with my daughter's life will make me yield? Do you believe protecting your mistress will secure your position as CEO? You're wrong, completely wrong. I, Su Wanqing, have never been a soft persimmon that others can manipulate. If you mess with me, or my daughter, even if you flee to the ends of the earth, I can still pull you out and make you pay." The downfall of the Lu family has only just begun. In the days to come, I will crush their dignity little by little, squeeze out their value, and make living for them more painful than dying. Early the next morning, sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the VIP ward, warmly lighting the floor. A nurse pushed a portable bed over and carefully transferred Nianxi to a regular VIP ward. The new ward was larger and even had a small balcony, with a few pots of vigorous green plants. The air carried a fresh scent. Dr. Li followed and, after another check, said Nianxi's recovery exceeded expectations, and she could already wake up and watch things for a while. I sat by the bedside, gently holding Nianxi's small hand. She blinked her dark eyes, weakly called out "Mom," her voice soft, enough to melt my heart. I leaned close to her ear and said softly, "Nianxi, be good. Mom is here. We'll be home soon." At that moment, a commotion burst at the entrance of the ward. Then the bodyguards rushed in a hurry, frowning as they spoke. "Young miss." Lu Tingchen forced his way past the security and stormed into the inpatient department. "He's just outside the ward now. We can't stop him. If he can't see you, he'll crash dead here." I furrowed my brows, a trace of disgust flashing in my eyes. This Lu Tingchen was really getting more and more shameless. For my sake, he's using even the stubborn, clingy tactics. I let go of Nianxi's hand and told the nurse, "Take good care of Nianxi here. Don't let the commotion outside scare her." The nurse nodded quickly. "Young miss, you can rest assured. I'll look after Miss Lu." I stood up and walked to the door, opening a narrow gap in the door. There, Lu Tingchen was kneeling in the corridor outside the ward. He wore a washed-out old suit, his hair messy, a face full of stubble, sunken eye sockets, bags under his eyes, and no longer the one stashing vigor. He looked like a penniless, washed-up beggar. Seeing me open the door, Lu Tingchen seemed to grab onto a lifeline, scrambling to me, wrenching at my pant leg, crying heart-wrenchingly, "Wanqing, Wanqing, I was wrong. I really know I'm wrong. Please forgive me this time. Please save the Lu Group. Save me." The medical staff and family members nearby crowded, pointing and whispering, pointing at Lu Tingchen. I pushed his hand away in disgust and said coldly, "Lu Tingchen, let go of me. This is a hospital, not your place to throw a tantrum." "I won't let go. If I let go, you won't save me." Lu Tingchen clung to my leg, stubbornly not releasing, tears and snot streaming down. "Wanqing, I know I'm a jerk. I shouldn't threaten you with Nianxi's medical fees. Shouldn't shield Lin Wanwan. Shouldn't treat you badly." I was wrong, I really was. If you'll consider Nianqi's face, please help me one more time, okay? As long as you're willing to withdraw the investment, willing to help the Lu group get through this crisis, I'll do anything. I've kowtowed to you. I'll bow to you. As he spoke, he truly began to bow his head against the ground with a thud, the top of his head soon red and swollen, looking pitiful and pathetic. The people around him talked even more sharply. Some said, "This man is too pathetic." Some said, "If only I had known today what I should have done back then," and others said, "He must have done something to wrong his wife." I stared at him coldly, with no trace of sympathy in my heart, only endless scorn. When he threatened me with Nianqi's life, how did he not anticipate this day? When he protected Lin Wanwan and ignored me and Nianqi, how did he not anticipate this day? Now he knows he was wrong. But it is too late. Lu Tingchen, stop acting here. My tone was cold, not loud, but full of authority. Do you think I will soften just because of this? Do you think I will let you off just because of Nianqi? You were wrong, very wrong. Nianqi ended up like this. It's all thanks to you and Lin Wanwan, and you still have the nerve to mention Nianqi. Lu Tingchen was left speechless by my words. The act of kowtowing also stopped. He simply stared at me blankly, his eyes filled with despair. Listen carefully. I spoke word by word, my voice clearly echoing through the entire corridor. First, I will not retract the order to withdraw funds. Lu's bankruptcy is inevitable. No one can save it. Second, Lin Wanyan harmed Nianqi and must be punished by law. I will not let her have any chance to turn things around. Third, our marriage is already over from the moment you threatened me with Nianqi's medical expenses. Once Nianqi is better, I will hire a lawyer to divorce you. You will leave with nothing, not a single penny to take with you, no. Wanqing, don't divorce. Lu Tingchen shakes his head crazily, hugging my leg and crying even harder. I can't divorce. If I divorce, I'll truly have nothing at all. Wanqing, please, give me one more chance. I'll live a good life with you, take good care of you and Nianqi, and I'll never have any contact with Lin Wanwan again. I've cut ties with her. I've deleted all her contact information. I swear. Do you swear? I scoffed. Your oath is worthless, Lu Tingchen. Do you think I'll still believe what you say? 3 years ago, you swore you would be good to me for life. What happened? You secretly saw a mistress, gave me cold treatment. A year ago, you swore you would take good care of Nianqi. What happened? You, for the sake of the mistress, don't even care about Nianqi's life or death. A man like you does not deserve trust, nor a family. I paused, looking at his pale face, and continued, also, don't forget who gave you everything you have today. 3 years ago, when your company's finances were tight, I filled the hole with my dowry. A year ago, when you wanted to expand the business, I persuaded my father to invest 500 billion for you. Su Wanqing, poured my heart out for you. And what did I get in return? Betrayal and hurt. The way you've ended up now is entirely of your own doing. You can't blame anyone else. I know it's my fault. I'm the one who let you down. Lu Tingchen sobbed, crying uncontrollably. Wanqing, I really know I was wrong. I shouldn't be ungrateful. I shouldn't betray you. Please forgive me this time, okay? I will spend my whole life making it up to you and Nianqi. I will work hard, regain everything I've lost, and I will let you and Nianqi live good lives. There's no need. I spoke coldly. The good days with Nianqi don't require you to give them to us. Without you, we will live better. Lu Tingchen, you can get out of here right now. And stop showing up in front of me and Nianqi, or I won't mind making you die a more painful death. As I spoke, I signaled the bodyguard with a glance. The bodyguard immediately stepped forward, pulled Lu Tingchen's hand away, and then dragged him to the end of the corridor like a dead dog. Wanqing, no. Please, save me once. Lu Tingchen struggled crazily, screamed hoarsely, his voice ragged and awful. I can't be without my company. I can't have nothing. Wanqing, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Her shouting faded farther and farther until it finally disappeared at the end of the corridor. The surrounding murmurings gradually subsided, and the eyes people looked at me with awe and pity. I took a deep breath, tidied my clothes, and turned to walk into the ward. Nianqi had already woken up, staring at me with wide eyes, a trace of fear on her small face. It seemed the commotion outside just now had scared her. I hurried to the beside the bed, gently held her, and softly said, Nianqi, don't be afraid. Mama is here. That bad person has been driven away by Mama, and he won't dare to bully us again. Nianqi leaned in my arms and whispered, "Mom, I just heard Dad's voice. He was crying." My heart tightened. I touched her head and said, "He isn't crying. He knows he's done wrong and is apologizing to us. But don't worry, Nianqi, Mom won't forgive him. If he hurt us, he must pay the price." Nianqi nodded as if half understanding, then closed her eyes, leaned in my arms, and fell asleep again. I held Nianqi, sitting at the edge of the bed. A calm feeling in my heart. Lu Tingchen's begging for mercy did not shake me in the slightest. I knew that showing him mercy would be cruelty to me and Nianqi. Just then, my phone rang. It was the assistant. "Miss, the matter you ordered has been clarified." The assistant's voice came through. Lu Tingchen indeed cut off contact with Lin Wanwan, but not out of remorse. It was because Lin Wanwan was taken away by the police and no longer of any use to him. In addition, we found out that Lu Tingchen has several other lovers outside. Lin Wanwan is just one of them. I knew his true nature would not change. I sneered. Such a man will never understand loyalty and responsibility. Moreover, Miss, the bankruptcy proceedings of the Lu Group have officially begun. The court has accepted their bankruptcy petition. All assets under Lu Tingchen's name have been frozen, including properties and deposits he had previously covertly transferred to Zhang Guilan's name, which we also found and turned over to the court for seizure. Well done. I nodded with satisfaction. Keep following up to make sure he doesn't get a single cent. Also, about the divorce agreement, have the lawyer prepared as soon as possible. Once Nianqi is more settled, I will handle the divorce proceedings with him. Yes, miss, don't worry. I'll have the lawyer prepare it promptly. After hanging up the phone, I looked at Nianqi sleeping soundly in my arms, my eyes filled with determination. Lu Tingchen, I will not accept your begging. I will not believe your repentance. What you owe me, what you owe Nianqi, I will take back piece by piece. After being transferred out of the intensive care unit, Nianqi recovered day by day. At noon that day, a nurse gave her a small bowl of millet porridge, and she even reached out eagerly for a piece of apple, chewing it with a delighted little mouth. Seeing her daughter's increasingly rosy face, my previously tense heart finally relaxed completely. As long as Nianqi was well, all the other troublesome matters would just be passing clouds. I had just tucked Nangxage, Nianqi, a good little quilt, when the assistant's call came in, with a hint of gloating in the tone. Miss, guess what? Zhang Guilan has started selling off the Lu family's property. Oh, she sure moves fast. I slouched on the sofa, my fingertips casually scrolling across the phone screen. What did she sell? The assistant said. We sold the old house at the Lu family. It's the one Zhang Guilan has always treasured and wanted to leave to Lu Tingchen as the ancestral home. She rushed to cash out to fill the hole, listed it with an agent at a low price, and ended up getting cheated by the agent, selling for nearly half the market price. The money hadn't even warmed yet when the creditors showed up and seized most of it. I sneered. Zhang Guilan has always valued money and face above all else in her life. Now, just to stay alive, she's willing to sell her ancestral home at a low price, and she's been betrayed again. Truly karma. What else? I continued. The Lu family only has that old house and the apartment where Lu Tingchen once lived that are worth something. Once the old house is sold, they'll surely go for the apartment next. Sure enough, the assistant said, after selling the old house, it's not enough. She wants to sell Lu Tingchen's riverside apartment too, but that apartment had already been frozen by the bank. She has no right to sell it. Not willing to give up, she even went to the apartment building's lobby to block the way, hoping to extort a moving fee from the new landlord, the buyer. After the bank's auction, the new landlord had the guards drive her out and even shoved her a few times. Her arm was scratched all *** over. Serves her right. My tone was flat, with no trace of sympathy. Zhang Guilan used to look down on me, calling me an egg-laying hen that never lays and a bad luck charm, and even helped Lin Wanwan bully me. Now she's in this pitiful state, and it's all deserved. The assistant added, the more exciting part is still to come. Last night, Lu Tingchen returned to the old house to fetch something and found that the house had already been sold. The new owner was changing the locks, and he argued with the new owner on the spot. Zhang Guilan rushed over, and the mother and son directly argued themselves hoarse at the door of the old house, blaming each other and exposing all the family's ugly secrets. Bystanders gathered in 3 layers, and some people even filmed it and posted it online. Now the topic #the rich family's fractured mother and son # is trending hot on social media. Oh, what did they quarrel about? I became a bit interested. This mother and son usually band together to bully me, but now they're at each other's throats. It's bound to be quite spectacular, the assistant said. I've sent you the video, you can see for yourself, roughly. Liu Tingchen scolded Zhang Guilan for making decisions on her own, selling the ancestral home at a low price, and wrecking the Liu family's foundation. Zhang Guilan retorted that Liu Tingchen was useless, protecting the third-party Lin Wanwan, causing the company to go bankrupt, and dragging her along to suffer. Zhang Guilan also said that from the start they shouldn't have agreed to Liu Tingchen marrying you, and they certainly shouldn't have let Lin Wanwan move in, claiming Lin Wanwan is a bad omen who has ruined the Liu family's luck. I opened the video that the assistant sent. In the frame, Liu Tingchen and Zhang Guilan were grappling with each other, their hair tangled, clothes ripped, and they kept shouting filthy curses. Liu Tingchen roared, "It's all your fault. If it weren't for you continually stirring me up, how could I have fallen out with Su Wanqing? If you hadn't helped Lin Wanwan, Nianqi would never have had an accident. Now, the company is gone, the house is gone, we have nothing left." Zhang Guilan was not to be outdone either, beating Liu Tingchen while crying, "I egged you on. Clearly you have no ability yourself. Su Wanqing is so rich. Can't you just live a good life with her? Why must you go to that fox spirit Lin Wanwan? Now Lin Wanwan has been caught, and you start blaming me. I think you are a heartless ingrate." People around were taking photos and discussing. Some well played, others cursed this family is really disgusting, and someone brought up Lin Wanwan's affair as well, saying they are a bad example at the top and a crooked bottom. In the video, Liu Tingchen gets furious being scolded by Zhang Guilan, raising his hand to slap Zhang Guilan, and shouting, "Shut up, if it weren't for your insatiable greed, always trying to profit from Su Wanqing, how could she treat us like this? You're the one who ruined everything." Zhang Guilan was utterly stunned. After pausing for a few seconds, her crying intensified as she sat on the ground, throwing tantrums and rolling around. "You actually beat me. I worked so hard to raise you to this age, and yet you attacked me over that woman. What's the point of living any longer? I might as well die." Watching the ugly scene of this mother and child in the video, I simply closed the video, with no ripple in my heart. No matter how pathetic they are now, they were just as cruel to me and Nianqi in the past. All of this is self-inflicted by them, and they can't blame others, the assistant said. Young mistress. After Zhang Guilan was beaten by Liu Tingchen, she rushed to the bankruptcy liquidation department of the Liu Group and caused a scene, saying she wanted a share of the remaining assets of the Liu Group. As a result, security escorted her out. She is now homeless, wandering the streets, and just now someone even saw her rummaging through trash cans for food. Does Liu Tingchen not care about her? I ask. Management, he can hardly take care of himself, the assistant sneered. Liu Tingchen is now hiding in the small apartment he once rented for Lin Wanwan, and he dares not come out. That apartment lease is about to expire, and the landlord is already pressing him to move out. He doesn't even have money to eat now, owes a ton of debt, and is being chased by debt collectors every day. Where would he have the energy to care about Zhang Guilan? I nodded. This mother and her son, one insatiable, the other utterly selfish, have now found themselves abandoned by all and homeless, a fate entirely of their own making, just as they once bullied me and Nianqi. Life has now returned the same treatment to them. This is retribution. In the afternoon, I had the bodyguard bring Nianqi her favorite strawberry cake. When the bodyguard returned, he also brought some news. "Miss, Zhang Guilan just rushed to the hospital entrance trying to ask you for money, but we stopped her." She knelt on the ground and cried, saying she knew her mistake and would take good care of Miss Liu from now on, begging you to give her a chance at life, give her a chance to live. I sneered. When she was so ruthless to Nianqi back then, why didn't she consider giving Nianqi a chance to live? When she helped Lin Wanwan bully me, why didn't she consider giving me a chance to live? Get her out of here. If she dares cause trouble at the hospital again, I'll call the police immediately. Yes, miss. The bodyguard acknowledged and stepped back. I walked to the bedside and watched Nianqi playing with the nurse's small toy, her young face full of innocent charm. I gently brushed her hair, secretly vowing that from now on I would protect her well, keep her away from all harm, and let her grow up in a loving environment. Just then, my phone rang. It was the lawyer. "Miss Su, the divorce agreement is ready, as you requested. Liu Tingchen will be stripped of all property, and all marital assets will belong to you. He will also have to pay Miss Liu's child support until she turns 18. In addition, We have collected evidence of Lu Tingchen's infidelity and abuse of his daughter if he does not agree to the divorce. We can directly sue him and ruin his reputation. Well done, I nodded with satisfaction. First, send the divorce agreement to Lu Tingchen for his signature. If he refuses to agree, initiate the litigation process directly. Okay, Miss Sue, I'll take care of it right away. After hanging up, I looked at the setting sun outside the window and felt a sense of calm. The Lu family had been completely wiped out, and Lu Tingchen and Zhang Guilan had also received the punishment they deserved. Next, as long as I finished the divorce with Lu Tingchen, Nianqi and I would be able to completely rid ourselves of this dirty family and start a brand new life. I know Lu Tingchen will not sign easily. He has nothing now and will surely try to gain some benefit from me through the divorce. But he's mistaken. Even if you gave all of Su Wanqing's money to a beggar, you wouldn't get a penny from him if he dares to disagree. I'll make him spend the rest of his life in prison. Not long after, the lawyer sent a message saying Lu Tingchen, upon seeing the divorce agreement, was very agitated and said he did not agree to walk away with nothing, and even said he would compete with me for Nianqi's custody. I sneer, he can't even support himself now, and he still wants custody. What a pipe dream, I replied to the lawyer. No need to waste words with him, directly initiate the lawsuit. Also, submit to the court all the evidence of his abusing Ningxi, using Ningxi's medical expenses as a threat against me, and his acts of infidelity during marriage. The lawyer replied quickly, okay, Miss Sue, I understand. I'll prepare it right away. After hanging up, I walked to the bed. Ningxi had fallen asleep from playing. Leaning on the pillow, I gently covered her with a blanket and kissed her forehead. Nianqi, Mommy will take you away from here very soon. We will have a brand new home, a home with no hurt and no betrayal. Those who harmed us, Mommy has made them pay, and no one will bully us again in the future. The day after the lawyer submitted the lawsuit materials, news about Lu Tingchen arrived. He probably saw that the evidence I presented was too solid, realized he couldn't win custody and might be charged with abusing his daughter, and his attitude immediately softened. He asked the lawyer to convey a message, saying he was willing to leave the marriage with nothing, but hoped I would leave him a right to visitation with Nianqi. I rejected it without a second thought and told the lawyer, visitation rights will not be granted. He was able to threaten me with Nianqi's medical expenses, and he could sacrifice Nianqi's well-being for the sake of the other woman. I will never let him continue to appear in Nianqi's life or contaminate her growing environment. After the lawyer spoke for him, a stone in my heart sank again. This concession from Lu Tingchen was only to prevent the matter from escalating and me completely ruined with a ruined reputation. If he had to choose, he would never choose Nianqi. As soon as I hung up the lawyer's call, my assistant called back with a satisfied tone, Miss, the verdict in Lin Wanwan's case has been announced. This morning, the court delivered its judgment in court. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison for intentional injury in order to pay us Nianqi medical expenses and compensation for emotional distress totaling 8 million yuan, 5 years. I raised an eyebrow. This sentence was considerable, enough to make her reflect deeply while behind bars. How did she react during the trial? My assistant replied, she reacted intensely. She collapsed on the defendant's bench, cried and made a scene, claiming she had been wronged and demanding Lu Tingchen's help. The judge then presented surveillance footage showing her deliberately pushing Ms. Lu, chat records demonstrating her plans to eliminate Ms. Lu with friends, and evidence of her attacking you with a knife. The chain of evidence was complete. She had no chance to defend herself. I laughed dismissively. Lin Wanwan had once acted so arrogantly, believing Lu Tingchen would protect her from consequences. Now that the evidence was conclusive, any further protests were futile. Did Lu Tingchen come? I asked. Given Lin Wanwan's temperament, she surely hoped Lu Tingchen would come to rescue her. No way he would. The assistant scoffed. Lu Tingchen is nowhere to be found. How could he approach? I had people watch the courthouse entrance from start to finish and didn't see his shadow. It was Zhang Guilan who went, but she didn't come to help Lin Wanwan. She came to scold her. Oh, how did Zhang Guilan scold her? I became a bit interested. These two who used to gang up on me are now enemies, and the thought is satisfying, the assistant said. I had someone record a clip. You listen. Zhang Guilan blocked Lin Wanwan's defense attorney outside the courthouse, shouting at the top of her lungs, that vixen is a bad omen. If she hadn't seduced my son, how could my company be wrecked? How could my granddaughter have a misfortune? She should be in prison. 5 years would still be too light. She also said Lin Wanwan ruined her family. Even if she's released, She will find someone to deal with Lin Wanwan. I felt a sense of relief in my heart. How protective Zhang Guilin used to be of Lin Wanwan, but turning around to curse her so violently, this is what people call plastic friendship. In the end, it was because Lin Wanwan had lost her value and dragged the Lu family down. With her that Zhang Guilin would turn her face and pretend not to know her. Where are Lin Wanwan's family? Didn't they come to see her? I asked next. Lin Wanwan came from an ordinary background. Normally her family would come to lend a hand. They came. Her parents did show up, the assistant said with a hint of mockery, but not to help her. They came to cut off ties with her. After the trial, her mother cried to the reporters that she had cut ties with Lin Wanwan long ago, and said Lin Wanwan had never learned anything good since she was little, greedily chasing wealth to be a mistress, bringing our family shame. Her father was even harsher, directly saying Lin Wanwan got what she deserved and would never be involved in any of her affairs again, nor would he pay any compensation, abandoned by all and betrayed by everyone. How pitiful. My tone was even, with no trace of pity. Lin Wanwan, in her bid for power, had not hesitated to strike a 5-year-old child to death. Now she's fallen to such a fate, and it's all the result of her own choices. If she had lived a decent life, even with an ordinary background, she could have had a steady life, but she chose the wrong path, and she must bear the cons, the assistant said again. There's something even more satisfying. When Lin Wanwan was being taken away by the bailiffs, she didn't give up. She stood behind the police car and shouted Lu Tingchen's name, saying she became like this for him, asking him not to forget her. The moment was recorded by a passing reporter, posted online, and netizens all started cursing her for being shameless, calling her the fighter jet among homewreckers. They dug up all the rumors about her chaotic private life from before. Now her name has become a synonym for poisonous homewrecker, and no matter where she goes, she is insulted. That's what she deserves. I spoke lightly, picked up the apple beside me, and slowly peeled it with a fruit knife. Can she come up with 2.8 million in compensation? I obviously can't pull it out, the assistant said. Her parents have already cut ties with her and won't help her pay. Lu Tingchen is already in trouble himself, in debt up to his neck, not to mention 27 million, even 280 yuan cannot be pulled out. The court has seized all of her assets, leaving only a few cheap pieces of jewelry and clothes. Not nearly enough to compensate. The court will proceed with enforcement, and if she still can't pay, even after release from prison she'll have to keep paying the debt, and she'll never be able to turn her life around. Then let her slowly repay. I cut the peeled apple into small pieces, speared one with a toothpick, and fed it to the newly awakened Nianxi at the lips. This is what she owes Nianxi, not a single penny less. Nianxi opened her mouth to take the apple into her mouth, chewed a few times, and smiled. Mom, the apple is so sweet. Eat more if you're sweet. I gently patted her head, watching her gradually rosy little face, my heart full of softness. Nianxi's recovery has been faster than expected. She can now sit up on her own and play for a while, and she can have simple conversations with me, the assistant continued. By the way, Miss, Lin Wanwan's parents later went to look for Lu Tingchen, hoping he could help Lin Wanwan with some compensation. But Lu Tingchen kicked them out. He even argued with them, saying that if it weren't for Lin Wanwan, his company wouldn't have gone bankrupt, and he wouldn't be in this situation today. He told them not to bother him again. It's really a case of dogs biting dogs and tearing at each other. I sneered. These people, who joined forces for their own back then, now when trouble arises, shift blame and point fingers at each other. None of them are worth a damn. In the afternoon, I asked a bodyguard to snatch a look at Lu Tingchen's recent situation. The bodyguard reported back that Lu Tingchen had already moved out of the small apartment he rented for Lin Wanwan because he could not afford the rent and was kicked out by the landlord. He is now homeless, sitting on park benches by day, hiding in an underpass at night, eating leftovers given by kind-hearted people, or picking up other people's leftovers from convenience stores. No different from a beggar. Zhang Guilin isn't doing any better. Still wandering the streets, sometimes she goes to the vegetable market to pick up rotten vegetable leaves discarded by others. Sometimes she kneels on the roadside begging. Her former arrogance is gone. Passers-by recognize her as Lu Tingchen's mother and point fingers at her, scolding her for not teaching her son properly and for shielding the homewrecker. She can only bow her head and dare not speak. Hearing all this, I feel no ripple in my heart. This mother and son, and Lin Wanwan, all deserve what they get. How they treated me and Nianxi in the past will be brutally repaid by life now. that is karma. In the evening, Nianqi was in high spirits. I held her and let her bask in the sun on the small balcony of the hospital ward. The afterglow of the sunset bathed her small face in a golden halo. She stretched out her little hand, wanting to catch the evening clouds, and babbled something in her mouth, watching my daughter's innocent and carefree appearance. I silently vowed that once the divorce procedures are finished, I would take Nianqi back to the old family home in Su. There are mountains and rivers there, the surroundings are serene, suitable for Nianqi to recover her health, and it would also keep her away from all the filth and betrayal here. I will give Nianqi the best education, the best life, and raise her in an environment of love, never to be harmed again. As for Lu Tingchen, Zhang Guilan, and Lin Wanwan, they will remain in this quagmire, torturing each other until they completely disappear from my life. Just then, my phone rang. It was the lawyer. Calling, the lawyer said, Miss Su, Lu Tingchen has officially signed the divorce agreement, agrees to divorce with a clean break, and has waived visitation rights with Miss Lu. We can go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to process the divorce procedures tomorrow. Okay, I spoke calmly. This outcome was already within my expectations. Lu Tingchen is now a kicked-out dog, having no capital to bargain with me. Signing the divorce, for him, might also be a release. Moreover, Miss Su, Lin Wanwan's parents just contacted me and said they want to negotiate the compensation with you, asking if they can pay in installments, or pay less. The lawyer continued, not possible. I refused without a second thought, not a single cent less, and no installments. When Lin Wanwan used extreme measures against Nianqi, why didn't she show mercy, now wanting to pay less? There's no way. Tell Lin Wanwan that either she scrambles the money now, or after being released she will face compulsory enforcement and be in debt for life. Okay, Miss Su, I understand. I will relay that to them. After hanging up the phone, I looked down at Nianqi in my arms. She was already asleep against my shoulder, her breathing steady and rhythmic. I gently patted her back, feeling a profound sense of peace. The divorce procedures would be completed tomorrow. Lin Wanwan had received the punishment she deserved. The Lu family had utterly collapsed, and this 3-year nightmare was finally coming to an end. From this moment on, my life with Nianqi will enter a completely new chapter, one free from betrayal or harm, filled only with sunshine and happiness. The next morning, I briefly prepared myself and asked the bodyguard to remain at the hospital to care for Nianqi, then accompanied the lawyer to the Civil Affairs Bureau. As the vehicle departed from the hospital, I glanced through the window toward the VIP ward and silently thought, Nianqi, Mom will be back soon. Once she returns, we will finally be free. At the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Lu Tingchen was already waiting. He wore a jacket that had been washed pale, pants stained with mud, his hair a mess, a face full of stubble, eyes red and bloodshot, and he looked haggard to the point of collapse, a far cry from the once vibrant Mr. Lu. When he saw me approaching, his eyes lit up, and he stepped forward quickly, trying to grab my hand. I turned slightly aside, my gaze cold as I watched him, as if seeing a stranger. Wan Qing. Lu Tingchen's voice was hoarse to the point of almost breaking, a hint of humble pleading in his eyes. Do we really have to go this far? Can't you give me one more chance? Chance, I sneered, my tone filled with ridicule. Lu Tingchen, I've given you countless chances. 3 years ago, I gave you a chance to live properly with me. A year ago, I gave you a chance to take good care of Nianqi. A few days ago, when you used Nianqi's medical expenses to threaten me, I was still giving you a chance to turn back. You didn't cherish it yourself, and now you come to talk to me about chances. It's too late. The lawyer stepped forward, handed the divorce agreement to Lu Tingchen, and coldly said, Mr. Lu, please sign. According to the agreement, you will leave with nothing, and all joint marital property will go to Miss Su. You give up custody and visitation rights to Miss Lu Nianqi, and you will be required to pay child support monthly until Miss Lu Nianqi reaches 18. Lu Tingchen looked at the divorce agreement, his hand trembling slightly, unwilling to sign for a long time. He looked up at me, his eyes red-rimmed. Wan Qing, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I can leave with nothing. I'll find a way to pay alimony. But can you give me one more chance to visit Nianqi? I just want to see her from afar. Just one glance. Is that possible? No, I rejected without a second thought, my tone firm, leaving no room for negotiation. Lu Tingchen, you don't deserve it. If you could threaten my life with Nianqi's name, if you could disregard her life for the sake of the third party, I will never let you appear in her life again. If you truly care about Nianqi, you should disappear completely, and never disturb our lives again. Lu Tingchen was speechless from my words, tears streaming down his cheeks, dripping onto the divorce agreement and smudging a small patch of ink. People around who were conducting business crowded over, pointing at us and gesturing. Isn't that Lu Tingchen, the former president of the Lu Group? How did he end up like this? I heard his company went bankrupt. He even had an affair with a mistress, ruined his wife and kids. Serves him right. Men like him should be kicked out of the house with nothing. His wife is really beautiful, obviously someone with elegance. Being with him is a tragedy for her. The voices of the commentators pierced Lu Tingchen's heart like needles, his face flushing red and pale in alternating waves. As he bowed his head lower and lower, the lawyer urged, Mr. Lu, please sign quickly, we have other matters to attend to. Lu Tingchen took a deep breath, trembling as he picked up the pen and signed his name on the divorce agreement. His handwriting was sloppy and weak, as if he had used up all his strength after signing. He threw the pen on the table, slumped in his chair, his gaze empty as he stared ahead, mumbling, It's over, it's all over. I took the divorce certificate handed over by the lawyer, the red booklet in my hand, light as a feather, yet as if 1,000 pounds had been lifted off. 3 years of marriage, 3 years of grievances, finally came to an end at this moment. I didn't glance at Lu Tingchen again, turning and leaving. When I reached the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, I heard Lu Tingchen's despairing cries behind me, along with the surrounding people's comments and taunts. I didn't look back, nor did I have any lingering attachment. From the moment this man betrayed me, he was no longer worthy of me investing any emotion in him. I got into the car and called my assistant, speaking calmly, the divorce procedures are finished. Lu Tingchen has walked away with nothing, giving up visitation rights. The assistant said with joy, Wonderful, miss, you've finally gotten rid of that scumbag for good. Now the whole net is talking about this. Hashtag Lu Tingchen walked away with nothing. Hashtag Suangqing tears he husband. Hashtag these two topics are both trending at the top, and netizens are cheering for you, saying you're a clear-headed, independent leading lady. Really? I asked with a faint smile. These false praises aren't important to me. I only care that Nianqi grows up healthy and happy. The assistant continued. There's something even more satisfying. Someone posted a photo online of Lu Tingchen crying outside the Civil Affairs office. Netizens are mocking him as the end of a phoenix man, and they juxtapose his past glamorous photos with his current down and out ones, saying he got what he deserved. People have also unearthed past incidents where the Lu family bullied you. Now the Lu family has become the city's laughingstock, and no one wants anything to do with them anymore. This is what they deserve. I spoke calmly. Lu Tingchen's alimony. Keep someone watching him closely. If he dares not to pay, sue him directly. Understood, young lady. Rest assured, I will arrange for someone to follow up throughout the process. Hung up the phone, and the car sped toward the hospital. I leaned back in the chair, watching the scenery outside rush by as it receded quickly, feeling a sense of calm in my heart. Without the constraints of marriage and without the entanglement with the Lu family, I could finally live a steady life with Nianqi. Back at the hospital, Nianqi was playing with blocks under the nurse's supervision. When she saw I was back, her eyes lit up. She put the blocks down, ran toward me, and threw herself into my arms, softly calling, Mom. I bent down and picked her up, kissed her on the forehead, and softly said, Nianqi, darling, Mommy's back. Mommy has chased away that bad daddy, and no one will bully us again from now on. Nianqi nodded vaguely as if understanding a little, leaning into my arms, her small hands tightly hugging my neck. The nurse smiled and said, Miss, today her ladyship is especially well behaved. She ate a bowl of porridge, and played with building blocks for a long time. She's full of energy. Thank you for your hard work. I smiled at the nurse, carrying Nianqi to the sofa, sitting down with her on my lap, and playing building blocks with her. Just then, my phone rang. It was from my bodyguard. The bodyguard said, Miss, just now we saw Lu Tingchen emerge from the Civil Affairs Bureau and was immediately surrounded by several creditors. They surrounded him, beat and insulted him, and even stole the meager money he had on him. When Lu Tingchen tried to resist, he was beaten even more severely. In the end, he lay motionless on the ground until passers-by called the police and took him to the hospital. Well done, I said calmly, without any sympathy. These are debts he owes, and they will have to be repaid sooner or later," the bodyguard added. "There's also Jean Guélan." She went to the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau earlier to demand payment from Liu Tingchen, but when she saw him being beaten by the creditors, she not only refused to help but turned and ran away, fearing further harassment from them. "This mother and child pair is really a freak show," I sneered. Jean Guélan and Liu Tingchen are both selfish people. In the face of kinship is not worth mentioning at all. In the afternoon, Dr. Li came to examine the ward and smiled at me. Miss Liu has recovered very well. All indicators are normal now. We should observe for a few more days. If nothing is wrong, she can be discharged to go home to recuperate." "Really? That's great," I said happily. "The best news I've heard recently." Dr. Li nodded. "Yes, Miss Liu is young, with strong recuperative ability, with timely treatment, her recovery is faster than expected. After discharge, as long as she rests and nutrition is strengthened, she will quickly be like a normal child." I hold Nianqi close and kiss her little face again and again, happily saying, "Nianqi, did you hear that? We'll be home very soon. After we get home, Mom will take you to Strawberry Cake, take you to the amusement park, okay?" Nianqi nods with a smile, shouting softly, "Yes. Strawberry Cake, amusement park," seeing my daughter's happy look, my heart fills with softness. All the storms have passed, and the happy life with Nianqi is about to begin. In the evening, I stand on the hospital ward balcony, looking at the sunset outside the window. The afterglow of the sunset spills across the land, dyeing the sky a golden yellow, beautiful and warm. I pulled out my phone and rang my dad. "Dad, I got divorced," I spoke calmly. Dad's voice came through, with a touch of worry. "Wan Qing, you've been wronged. The divorce is fine. Leave that scumbag. You and Nianqi can have a good life. When will you bring Nianqi home?" "Dad will have the kitchen make your favorite dish, sweet and sour pork ribs, in a few days, after Nianqi is discharged. We'll go back," I said with a smile. "Dad, thank you for always supporting me." "Silly child, don't be so polite with Daddy," Dad said. "You are Daddy's precious daughter, and Daddy will always be your strongest backing, no matter what happens. Daddy will be there." With the call ended, my eyes warmed a little. It's really nice to have the supportive family. I turned and walked into the hospital room. Nianqi had already fallen asleep. I gently walked to the bed, covered her with a quilt, pressed a kiss on her forehead, and whispered, "Nianqi, Mom will always protect you, and make you the happiest little princess in the world." Liu Tingchen had already left the house clean, reduced to a target everyone shouts about. Jean Guélan was homeless, wandering the streets. Lin Wanwan was in prison, burdened with enormous debt. The Liu family had completely collapsed, become the town's joke, with no chance of turning things around. This revenge I won. The day Nianqi was discharged, the sunshine was exceptionally bright. A convoy sent by the Su family was waiting downstairs at the hospital long ago. The frontmost business car was laid with a soft cashmere rug, and a plush teddy bear Nianqi loves was placed there as well. A bodyguard carefully carried Nianqi's little hospital bed, with a nurse walking beside, repeatedly reminding us of the precautions after discharge. I held Nianqi's small hand and walked step by step out of the hospital gates. The sunlight spilled over us, warm and soothing, dispelling the gloom that had lingered for days. Nianqi curiously looked at the convoy around us, her little mouth forming a perfect circle as she pointed to the car in front and asked, "Mom, is that our car? So beautiful." "Yes." I crouched down and gently stroked her head. "From now on, this will be our car. We're going home to a new house." "New home?" Nianqi blinked her big dark eyes. "Does the new home have strawberry cake?" "Of course it does." I nodded with a smile. "The new home has lots and lots of strawberry cake, plus a playground. Mom takes you to play there every day." Nianqi jumped up in happiness, hugged my neck and gave my cheek a kiss. "Mom is the best." I sat Nianqi in the business car. The car slowly started, heading toward the old family house of the Su family. The Su family old house is built against the mountains, occupying a vast area, with a garden, a swimming pool, a playground, and even a dedicated medical room and study. The environment is tranquil, facilities are complete, making it the best place to nurture Nianqi's health. The car drove into the gate of the Su family's old residence, and the butler had already brought a group of servants waiting at the door. Seeing me return, the butler respectfully stepped forward. "Miss, you're back. Father and Mother are waiting for you in the living room." Thank you for your hard work, Manager Wong, I nodded, carrying Nianqi as we walked into the living room. In the living room, Dad and Mom were sitting on the sofa waiting. Seeing me and Nianqi, Mom immediately stood up, walked quickly over, and hugged me tightly, her eyes red. Wanqing, you've suffered. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back, Mom. I'm fine. I patted Mom's back to comfort her. Look, Nianqi is fine too. We're all back. Dad walked over, looking at Nianqi with a heart full of tenderness. My dear granddaughter, I'm sorry you've suffered. From now on Grandpa will protect you well, and no one will dare bully you again. Nianqi looked nervously at Dad and Mom. I gently patted her back, encouraging her. Nianqi, hurry and call Grandpa and Grandma. Grandpa, Grandma, Nianqi whispered, her voice soft. Ah, Mom replied happily, pulling a red envelope from her pocket and stuffing it into Nianqi's hand. This is Grandma's welcome gift to you. Be good from now on, eat more, and grow tall quickly. Nianqi took the red envelope and smiled happily. In the days to come, Nianqi and I settled in at the old Su family residence. Mom cooked us delicious meals in various ways every day, and Dad hired the best early education teachers to teach Nianqi painting, singing, and storytelling. Nianqi's personality became more and more cheerful. The smiles on her face increased, and she finally shed the shadows from before. I also took over part of the Su Group's business again. Before, for Lu Tingchen, I gave up my career and stayed at home as a full-time wife, only to be betrayed and hurt in the end. Now, I want to live for myself in Nianqi, and take back what belongs to me. Relying on the business knowledge I learned overseas and Dad's guidance, I quickly established a solid footing in the Su Group. I first cleaned up some unhealthy practices within the group, dismissed a few underperforming executives, and then launched several new projects. It didn't take long for the group to generate enormous profits and gain unanimous recognition from everyone in the company. That day, I was in the office handling documents when my assistant knocked and walked in, smiling. Miss, I'm here to report the latest situation about the people from the Lu family. Oh, how are they doing? I looked up and asked. The assistant said, Lu Tingchen has completely collapsed. He was beaten by creditors and admitted to a cheap private hospital, but since he couldn't pay the medical bills, he was kicked out after only a few days. Now he's making a living by moving bricks on a construction site, doing the hardest work for the least money, and often being bullied by the foreman. A passerby took photos of him, his hair white, his skin dark, his hands all calloused and scarred, looking more than 10 years older than his actual age. He also owes us Nianqi's support payments, and we've sued him. The court has ordered him to pay 2,000 yuan in child support each month, but he can't pay it all. He's now on the blacklist of dishonest persons, unable to take trains or planes, and he can't even stay in hotels. He's getting what he deserves. I spoke matter-of-factly, with no trace of sympathy. Back when he used Nianqi's medical expenses to threaten me, how could he not foresee that he would end up like this? The assistant said again. Zhang Guilin hasn't turned out well either. She begged on the streets for a while, then was taken away by a distant relative. Not long after, she fought with someone at the relative's house and was driven out. Now she works at a small restaurant, washing dishes and serving plates, working more than 10 hours a day, so tired that she can't straighten her back, and she's often scolded by the boss. She used to be so arrogant in front of you, now she has to bow her head for a meal. It's really karma. And then Lin Wanwan, the assistant continued, she's not doing well in prison either, because she is the other woman, and she harmed a child. The other inmates bully her, force her to do the dirtiest and most exhausting work, and she's often beaten and scolded. Her parents never visited her, never sent money, and she can't even afford basic daily necessities in prison. I heard she recently fell seriously ill. The prison's medical conditions are limited, so they can only provide conservative treatment, living a life worse than death. These are all what they deserve. I spoke lightly. How they treated me and Nianqi in the past is how life will repay them now. This is cause and effect, retribution. The assistant nodded. Yes, miss. Now everyone in the city knows their ending, and they say you're a decisive heroine who does right and wrong clearly, who dares to love and hate. Many media outlets want to interview you, to have you share your experiences. Do you want to accept an interview? No need. I shook my head. I don't want to be involved with them in any way, and I don't Want my affairs made public. Right now I just want to take good care of Nianchi, run my own business well, and live my life well, very well, young miss, I understand." The assistant nodded, then turned and stepped out. I stood up and walked to the office floor-to-ceiling window, looking at the scenery outside. In the garden of the Su family old residence, Nianchi was flying a kite with an early education teacher. The laughter crisp and echoing throughout the garden. Dad and Mom sat on a bench not far away, watching Nianchi, their faces full of smiles. The sunshine shines on them, warm and happy. This is the life I want, to have family by my side, work to do, and no more betrayal or hurt. I took out my phone and took a photo of Nianchi. In the photo, Nianchi was wearing a pink dress, holding the kite string in her hand, with a bright smile on her face, like a small sun blooming. I set the photo as my phone wallpaper. My heart full of tenderness. Lu Tingchen, Zhang Guilan, and Lin Wanwan. Their fates are choices they made for themselves. As for me and Nianchi, we have completely shaken off their shadow and begun a brand new life. In the days to come, I will work hard to make the Su group grow better and better, providing Nianchi with the best life and education. I will be with Nianchi as she grows up, watching her grow from a little girl into a tall and graceful young woman, watching her get married and have children, living a happy and fulfilled life. As for those who have harmed us, let them torment each other in hell until they vanish completely from our lives. I took a deep breath, turned back to my desk, and continued handling the documents. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling window, lighting up my face. My eyes were resolute and calm, because I knew that my and Nianchi's future was full of sunshine and hope. This 3-year nightmare has finally come to an end, and the new peak of growth that belongs to me and Nianchi has only just begun.